Hello, this is Coach Terrence Thomas of Maximum Golf Performance. In this training, we will go over the back pain roadmap. This is a proven method, proven framework that I've used over the last 22 years to help golfers get out of back pain and get back on the course playing pain-free sooner than later. Now, the game of golf in and of itself presents some very unique challenges to the spine and the body in general. Studies have shown that the forces that are generated during the golf swing are literally powerful enough to fracture a human vertebrae. Now, those were done on cadaver studies, but when you consider the fact that most people who are playing golf are operating below optimal core conditioning and physical functioning, most people are essentially working with what we call a naked spine. A naked spine meaning that the spine is functioning in an environment of not having the support that it needs. The muscles aren't firing properly, the reflexes aren't firing properly, which means that the spine is even more vulnerable to injury outside of the golf swing. I think that almost 25 years ago, the average age of a disc herniation and lower back injury as a whole, the average age was between 28 and 32 years old. And again, this was 25 years ago. So when you consider that in that time frame between then and now, sedentary rates, the increase in seated workplace, lack of activity, increase in obesity, increase in overall diseases has increased, you would almost think that those numbers have increased as well. So my point is, without even considering the game of golf, lower back spinal problems are rampant and they're common, and they have to be approached in the right way, because not all back pain is created equal. There are many facets, there are many causes to why we can have lower back pain, so it's important that we understand each case individually. I've been rehabilitating spine since 1999, and I can tell you that even the best physical therapists, if they're not paying attention, can botch cases. And I've had to deal with a lot of botched cases when you try to take a cookie cutter approach to treating lower back pain. So what I'm about to explain to you is very serious, I think, because as you know, if you've ever had any semblance of back pain, it can literally stop your life right in its tracks. Nothing else matters because you can't move and you're in pain, and it can really knock you off your feet, figuratively and literally. All right, so this very, we'll call it simple framework, it's what I've been using to really facilitate healing and really get to the bottom of most back pain. And I've already alluded to the first of these steps, in that you have to address the root cause. Now, when you look at the spine itself, I mean, the spine is a series of vertebrae. It encases your spinal cord and your brain. So it's essentially the circuitry to your entire system. So you have to be able to look at back pain from a holistic approach. You just can't say, okay, I'm going to focus on the spot that hurts. And 9 times out of 10, that is not where the pain is coming from. So finding the root cause is going to be really important. Sometimes it's musculoskeletal, sometimes it's neurological, sometimes it's ergonomic, meaning how you use your body on a day-to-day basis. It can be a chronic inflammatory condition. So all of these things they can be the cause, and it can be one of those, and it can be all of those. So by having a system to help you isolate your root cause and to be able to prioritize them in order of importance, because I've seen this happen a lot, where one of many causes have been isolated, but unfortunately, it wasn't the higher priority root cause. And what that does is it allows for moderate to temporary relief, but then the pain and these conditions are never resolved because you're not addressing the highest priority cause. So an important thing I want you to understand is that you want to find the root cause, but you want to find the highest priority root cause as well, because that is how you're going to get the most resolution and to be able to get back on the course sooner than later. And obviously you'll know when you found your high priority root cause, because you will start to experience the results right away, and the progress will be gradual and sustaining and compounding, meaning that you will start to get better over time. But if you are getting better and then stepping back and then getting better and then stepping back, there's your indicator that you're probably not quite on target with the highest priority root cause. But nonetheless, it's the first step in getting you dialed in and getting you pain free. So the second thing you want to address is inflammation, because if you are in pain, if you are stuck in a state of chronic inflammation, it will again put the brakes on any efforts that you make towards healing, for the simple reason that pain and inflammation shuts the body down. It's like when you sprain your ankle. As long as that ankle is swollen and painful, you will walk with a limp. But in the case of back pain, your limp is happening right in your center of gravity. And because all movement emanates from the core, that means any movement that you execute in the presence of pain is going to be a compensation pattern. And if you're trying to play golf, if you're trying to play good golf, you will have giant compensation patterns because, again, because of the forces that are generated during the golf swing. If you're trying to play when you are inflamed and in pain to whatever degree, your body senses that as a huge threat, because again, we're dealing with your brain and your spinal cord. So your body shuts down and you'll end up creating compensation patterns in your swing in all the ways that I'm sure you've been exposed to. You'll start to get too handsy. You won't be able to get the club back. You'll get off balance. And then you're starting to play whack-a-mole with your swing, meaning you're chasing one fix to the other. You're bringing out these different gadgets to try to make up for the fact that you're compensating, making up for the fact that you're still in pain. So addressing this addressing inflammation is going to be huge. And getting you, first of all, clearing out the obstacles in your healing, but also in your golf swing. Again, what is the nature of golf in and of itself? It's the fun and the skill of overcoming obstacles. You're avoiding traps, trying to stay on path, but most of the time you're overcoming obstacles. Rarely do you stay in the fairway and in the beautiful line of play. So if you can become efficient at overcoming obstacles, there you are. Once the inflammation is under control, and you'll know this because your body will start to comply with your requests. That will be the telltale sign that your inflammation is at a level where you're not going to shut down. All right. So after you've gotten this point, the next step is you have to engage in corrective exercise. What this means is that you will expose yourself to the right movements that are done at the right time. This is important. Just like prioritizing inflammation before anything else, you have to now prioritize the right exercises and movement sequences at the right time. Because if you do the wrong sequence at the wrong time, it's going to put you back at square one. So this is the essence of what corrective exercise is. If you want to imagine it almost like a combination lock. I'm dating myself. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you may remember those combination locks where you have to, it's a turn-based combination where you have to turn it to different numbers. It's a rotary dial combination lock. The first number has to be done to this way, and the second number the other way, and then finally get to it. So there's a sequence to it. And the same thing kind of happens when you're doing corrective exercise. When you do the right exercises in the right order, you will systematically start to unwind your body, and you will systematically start to put the spine, put your structure back into ideal positions to promote healing and performance and optimal movement, which means that you start to control and play better golf. So this is what the idea of corrective exercise is about. Then after you're back into a good position, now you shift towards being able to maintain those ideal positions, and then to be able to manage forces again intrinsically. And here's what I mean. This falls under the guise of stability and core. Core and all of these things, it's a buzzword these days because more people are getting hip to the importance of functional training. That's another topic in and of itself, but I'll give you the 2-minute PhD in how the core works. A very common and dangerous mistake is that many people think that the core is just targeting the midsection or the abdominals and things like that. But the truth is the core is an entire system, just like you have a nervous system, a digestive system, and things like that. The core is a system that is made up of muscles of various types, not just the core, and it's made up of reflexes. So you have to understand the hardware and the software involved in optimal core function, and the whole body works as a unit. So in essence, we can consider every muscle in the body connected to the core. You just have to understand how the system works. So then you have to retrain the hardware and the software. And this is what optimal stability and core function is. The purpose of the core is to dissipate forces away from the spine. Like all the forces that you generate swinging the golf club, lifting, running, twisting, XYZ. If the core is working properly, those forces will be shuttled away from the spine. But when it doesn't work, all those forces get trapped into the spine, or they get driven into those spine, and all of those inert structures, those fragile, delicate vertebrae, discs, facet joints, little ligaments in there, they become compromised. And this is how people end up getting beat up by gravity, because their body isn't being an effective shock absorber for those forces. So this is where proper core conditioning done in the right way is going to be a huge game changer for your healing and you being able to get back on the golf course. Then once you're stable, once you're able to navigate these forces that you generate inside of your body, now you're ready to start generating forces outside the body, meaning you're going to be into your golf swing reintegrating your golf swing. Now that you're out of pain and you're ready to, you can tolerate the work. You can tolerate forces without trashing yourself. And this is where you're playing without pain, and you're doing what we'll call your golf swing specific training for increased power and accuracy and things like that. So that is the 5-step method, the 5-step framework that you can follow to get yourself out of pain. At any point, you can always go back to this. So just to sum it up, step 1 is you want to find the root cause. You have to understand where it's coming from. You have to identify the high priority root cause. Otherwise, the results will be temporary. Step 2 is you have to control inflammation, because inflammation completely shuts down the body. Think of walking with a limp, but only you're limping right at the point of center mass and center of gravity. Then you must start to implement corrective exercise to restore proper movement and to facilitate healing and alignment. Step number 4, develop that core stability, to redevelop the shock absorption system in the body through the right exercises and the right movements. And step number 5 is to reintegrate back into your golf swing. Now, this is the 5-step framework. If you'd like to download the free manual and the free report on the back pain roadmap, you can click the link below, or there should be somewhere for you to access that on this page. And that way you can have it at your disposal anytime you need it. Take care.